Operation Iraqi Freedom is over.
Welcome to Wednesday's edition of TimesCast. In the wake of President Obama's Oval Office speech, Stephen Farrell reports from Baghdad on Iraqi discontent.
Security was better in the old days.
John Geddes and Susan Chira on President Obama's plans for peace in the Middle East.
It's not at all clear that either side is willing to make the compromises.
A preview of a coming story on the complicated issues of psychiatric medication for young children.
I mean, all I had was a medicated little boy. I didn't have my son.
And a first look at a coming story, a gathering of microcar fans.
It's a jewel. You wouldn't find another, that's all I know.
An American serviceman looks back on Iraq, receding into the distance. For months now, transporters have been hauling equipment out of bases no longer used by American forces. And as of today, the American mission has been rebranded. No longer combat, but advising and training Iraqi forces. The mission also has a new commander. But many Iraqis are alarmed and fearful about the future.
We lack security and stability. Many things have improved, but the important thing is security. Security was better in the old days.
In Paradise Square, where Americans tore down a statue of Saddam Hussein in 2003, the citizens of oil-rich Iraq are furious that they still have power shortages and have to line up for gas.
This is a country of oil, but you see the queue at the gas station?
He blames the politicians for bickering and failing to agree a government.
If the situation stays the same, Iraq will have no future.
The reasons for Iraqis' fears are easy to see. There is political instability, there have been bombings, and mortar and rocket attacks on the Green Zone.
We want the withdrawal for Iraqis in order to achieve total sovereignty for Iraq. But at the same time, we say that the security situation is currently not that good.
Susan, we just saw that wonderful video from Steve Farrell about the reaction on the ground in Baghdad. Last night, we heard President Obama speak. What's changed?
Well, I think that President Obama was trying to strike a tone that wasn't triumphal, but clearly signaled to the American public and the world that he's moving on from Iraq and focusing his attention on the war in Afghanistan, which he hopes now to have more resources to fight. Tonight at the White House, he's going to start hosting a summit of Israeli and Palestinian leaders and begin on the first direct talks they've had for 2 years. So, as David Sanger wrote in today's paper, there's an attempt to leverage and play off the drawdown of one traumatic war and an attempt to move to forging peace, which of course is a prospect that a lot of people are quite pessimistic can be achieved.
What should we be watching for in the days to come?
I think we need to look at whether there's any ability to forge a compromise on the issue of settlements. The moratorium that Prime Minister Netanyahu agreed on settlement expansion under pressure from the Obama administration will expire, and the Palestinians want it to be continued, and the Israelis have said they will not. That could be the first flashpoint. And I think the other question will be, do the Americans have any breakthrough ideas that could move the talks forward?
An early look at a coming story on the complicated issues of prescribing psychiatric medications for young children.
Kyle Warren is a rambunctious 6-year-old. But his high energy and disruptive behavior weren't always easy for his mother to handle.
Kyle, go run bath water, get in the tub.
So she took him to the pediatrician.
And asked him if there was something that we could do to help calm him down because I could not handle him. Between the tantrums, the head banging, there was no way of controlling him. And he put him on the Risperdal.
Risperdal is a powerful antipsychotic drug. It is often used to treat adults with paranoid schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. The drug is FDA approved for children as young as 5, and doctors may prescribe it in unapproved situations. But Kyle was 18 months old. Kyle's pediatrician told the New York Times, quote, "Kyle was very aggressive and easily agitated, so you try to find medication that can make him more easily controlled." Studies show that tens of thousands of preschoolers are being prescribed heavy medications to control tantrums and calm aggressive behavior. Pills can be a simple solution to a complex problem.
There's no way that a primary care physician can spend the time on a full mental health assessment or has the training to do a mental health assessment. It's not fair to the child, it's not fair to the parent, it's not fair to the physician.
By the age of 2, Kyle was on more than 5 different medications.
Mefoclin, Cyprexid, Prozac, Clonidine, hydroxyzine. I mean, all I had was a medicated little boy, and I didn't like that.
Look at a coming story, a visit to the first international micro and mini car meet near Chicago.
We've got over 350 cars pre-registered. We expect another 50 to 60 today. This will exceed 400 micro cars, probably a Guinness World Record.
I brought one of my Goggomobiles. It's actually a Goggomobile transporter pickup, which was manufactured in Germany back in 1962. It has got a 2-cylinder, 2-stroke engine with a capacity of 250 cc and 13 horsepower.
This is a 39 Speed King auto racer built in Beaver Falls. And it was built for the 1939-1940 World's Fair. It was what's called a mini auto ride. It went around on a raised track, got on, I would estimate 40, 50,000 people have ridden this car during its lifespan.
What makes these cars so unique is that they have tiny little engines and they don't consume much fuel. So some of these cars that you're looking at actually get close to 100 miles per gallon.
Join us again tomorrow for another edition of TimesCast.